Hey, what's up, good people? You are tuned into another episode of Fatherhood is Dope, the podcast, man. I'm your guy, Aaron McGee, and I appreciate you guys joining me again. Before we go any further, you already know I got to take care of housekeeping. So if you're watching on YouTube, take this second. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let me know that you mess with me. Tap in, hit the subscribe button. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, and I appreciate you for being a loyal, dedicated listener to Fatherhood is Dope, the podcast. All right, so per usual, guys, man, you already know that all of my guests are special, but today is even more special. Man, I got a panel with me today of some phenomenal fathers who today we're going to be discussing, man, the state of Black fatherhood. Yeah, you heard it. We're going to be discussing the state of Black fatherhood, man. There's a lot going on in our nation right now. And I want to check up on my brothers, just to be quite honest, and see how we're doing. And so I brought in some friends, some new friends, some old friends, to be a leading and contributing voice to like what's really good. All right. So first up on the roll, we got my guy, DJ Pryor. What's up, DJ? Pryor.
Yeah, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, so my guy, y'all already know. So I generally bring the premium gas. So I gas up all of my guests, whoever comes on the podcast. So it's a lot of gas to go around. So I just try to pace myself. But at bare minimum, my man DJ Pryor is first of all a viral sensation, man. But outside of all of that, he has two sons. He's a husband, a comedian, an actor, and it's far beyond an overnight success because my man has been putting in work for years. And y'all already know how it goes. You work 10 years to be an overnight success. So I want y'all to show my man DJ Pryor some love. Up next on the road, we got my man Ivon, not to be twisted with Ivon, but Ivon. What's good?
I concur.
Yeah. Hey, before I even start to gas you up, man, I just want to invite people to visit your Instagram page. It's the Hickmon Helper, right?
At the Hickmon Helper, yep. All O's.
At the Hickmon Helper. First of all, man, this man's energy is insane. So if you ever need like a pick me up at the top of the morning, then Ivon is who you want to tap into, because he's a motivational speaker or inspirational speaker, an entrepreneur, a husband, a hashtag girl dad, MVP, and captain of a college football team. I'm all up in your business, man. I'm gassing you up, bro. Put that Letterman jacket at. And then overall, man, my man Ivon's mission is to serve and empower and connect with the young scholars, students, athletes, and business professionals. So y'all show my man Ivon some love.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you being here. And last but not least, man, it's actually one of my classmates, man, from the illustrious Tennessee State University. He is a hometown hero, long before he became any other hero, but just a hometown hero in general, because he's always been making the city of Nashville proud. So I want to show love first and foremost to my last guest, my third guest, Mr. James Shaw. Some of you all may know James Shaw as the Waffle House hero. I like to quote you, James, in this moment. He said, "I'm not a hero," but it's for just to validate it, man. To so many of us, you are, because you represent so much more than even what happened in the Waffle House, man. So I just want to validate it again that you are a hero. You're a hometown hero. He's a girl dad, a single father, an entrepreneur, and every episode somehow I managed to have like a fashionista on the episode. I don't know how this works, but James, today you get the fashionista spot, and I had to preference it because most guys, they like to shine off fashionista, but just like I had Wade the barber on last time, and I told him, man, a fashionista is someone that's, long story short, that's into clothing. And man, I see you be tailored up, bro. So,
well, you know, I was trying to make Nashville and TSU and Black Men Period look good, and when I had a lot of highlights to me, so I threw on a suit a couple times and it, took off. So
yeah,
I'm glad
get us proud, bro.
Liked it. And thanks for having me on here, man.
For sure, James. I'm gonna call you out though, because for the last 3 years, man, I ain't seen nothing but your ankles though.
Gotta let them ankles breathe. That was it. First of all, I started a new whole swag with that too. I don't know if you've seen that. There's a lot of brothers out here with the ankleless out suit. So just shout me out. Say something if you gonna do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. My man is the pioneer of letting the ankles hang out, man.
Let the ankles breathe.
Yeah. All right. So at the end of the day, man, y'all see that we have a qualified group of brothers, man. I may even be lending some of my opinions to today's conversation, but at the end of the day, guys, thank you again for coming on the podcast. Man, I really want to just jump right into it, and there's no easy way to do it. You know, you can't ignore the elephant in the room, and I really just want to ask you guys, like, how are you managing your blackness, like in the time of COVID-19, quarantine, pandemic, racial injustice, rioting and protesting? Like, Pryor, how you managing your blackness, man, your black manhood?
I think right now, man, the first thing is figuring out how to survive. You know what I'm saying? Being as safe as we possibly can, knowing that Corona was, as if Corona wasn't enough, then a target being on our back. So we try to dodge a virus and dodge, being killed and hunted. But I'm just, I'm gathering information, not just from media, because that's big for me. Gathering information, knowing the best ways to be effective right now, and then be where I need to be and stay out the way where I don't need to be. And right now I think it's a very important time for us as black men to speak up for other people, especially us men that have platforms, man, to really speak up for our brothers who don't have these platforms. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just trying to find a way to be effective, man. That's how I'm maintaining mine. Just finding an effective way to contribute to my culture, my race, and my society.
Yeah, what do you mean when you say be where I need to be and stay out of the way where I don't need to be? Like, what does that look like for you?
Meaning, everybody's on Facebook with their conspiracy theories, right? And we can fight those and we can battle, politics. We can talk that stuff all the time. But it's like, at what point do we get out here and we work? You know what I'm saying? What point do we stop talking about it and put some action to the stuff we talking about? You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather stay off the internet with the arguments and the debates and be out here and be proactive. I haven't personally been able to be at a lot of protests because my grandfather passed, so I was here taking care of stuff for that. But man, now that that's done, man, I want to get out here and get my hands dirty.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more, man. Ivon, where are you with your blackness, man?
Man, I'm a firm believer, man, that all things really work to the good of those who love the Lord, who called according to his purpose. It's Romans 8:28. Yeah. And it's crazy because you don't see it at the time. So like when Corona hit, man, we like, man, this pandemic is wild. We haven't seen this. We're on the cuff of Kobe leaving, Gianna, just the tragedy. Man, we're just like, how, why? A lot of people are asking that question to God, But the silver lining in this whole pandemic is like, man, we were forced to stay inside of our house. We were forced to hit the reset button. We were forced to be a part of our kids' life like no other time. Like, I'm gonna take school out the equation. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna let you sit down. I'm gonna let you be a teacher. I'm gonna give you more time to be a better listener to your daughters. You know what I mean? And so, and even with George Floyd, man, I really see him being a martyr. And it took his death with the combination of Corona to amplify everything. And so, like, I'm grateful for our ancestors ahead of us. Like Maya Angelou said, man, I love it. She said that I am the hope and the dream of the slave.
Yeah.
So I will rise.
Yeah.
So that hope has always been there, ingrained in our history. And so even through this whole pandemic, like if you have just a mustard seed of that hope, that's all you need, man. And so I'm managing my blackness by grabbing on the hope and knowing that all of this is gonna work for my good.
Hey, you already take the cake, man, because whenever a brother quotes Dr. Maya Angelou, you already winning, man. So yeah, I'm here for that. Yo, real talk, it's so ironic that you even bring up Kobe and Gigi, because if 2020 wasn't already hard enough, if Kobe and Gigi alone would have just took the whole cake for 2020, And then February and March just started to rear their face, and man, here we are in June, still trying to like figure life out.
Absolutely.
James.
And then I'll chime in just with the Kobe tragedy and everyone on that helicopter. I think the light in that is for everyone, every father who has a daughter to like embrace having a daughter, because it's always been like just a hint of you having a girl, you gonna try for that boy, you know, you gonna try, but really embracing, man, I got a daughter.
Yeah,
I have a daughter, and not to say that sons, because I grew up 2 brothers, but just embracing, man, the love for your daughter, like how Kobe did to his girls.
That's love.
So seeing the dads embrace that, man, has been the beauty in that tragedy.
Shout out to the girl dads, man. I appreciate Kobe. His light still shines, man. James, how you managing your blackness in the middle of it all, man?
How managing my blackness is quite difficult. I have I have 3 or 4 young brothers who message me and they ask me, so how I'm supposed to feel about this, man. Shouldn't we be doing this? Shouldn't we be doing that? And I know it's from a place of anger and it's from a place of rage. And you have to believe me when I say I'm just as mad as you all are. I mean, I actually went through a white supremacist crime, you know, no matter what anybody says. I mean, it was only minorities that were hurt and killed in the incident. So it touches me a different way. Ahmaud Arbery's death touches me in the most. I mean, George Floyd touched me a lot, but Ahmaud touched me a lot because I was a black man trying to take a gun from a white person. You see what I'm saying? A white man, an angry white man for no reason. And it just touched me because people really don't understand, like, that's exactly what I had to do. That's exactly what could have happened to me. So I've actually had to, last week I had to take a trip with my girlfriend and get away from it because I don't know if people understand how just seeing that replayed over and over and over, I know if it's affecting me the way it's affected me, it has to be affecting his family. It has to be, you know, his daughters are young right now, but it just has to be affecting them in a certain way that could not be healthy, could not be conducive to what they're going through right now with his murder, and then it just keep playing and playing. So I've had to try to just keep it real with myself. And I had to tell you, I had to ask my dad questions that he said he asked his mom back in the 50s and 60s. My dad's older. My dad's 71. And he told me, he said, I asked those same questions to my mom. And she said, I'm going to tell you the same thing. She said, change going to come. But he said he didn't agree with the rioting. But for me, I had to tell him the same way. Well, we didn't grow up in the same climate of society that you grew up in. You grew up in Batesville, Mississippi, where certain rights really weren't available to you because you were black. I was born in 1988. These kids also are born in 2000. I mean, they don't really.
Right.
The only thing they really wait on is maybe some pizza from Uber. They don't really, you know what I'm saying? They don't really have any limits to what they have. So I've been just having to keep it real myself and know that, you know, I feel a certain kind of way about it. And I'm not really a person for words. I'm not really a person for things like that. To be honest with you, I'm really a person of action. I don't really. All my friends know I'm just a person of action. I'm the person, if you want something done, we go do it. We don't have to talk about it. What you want to do? We out and we go do it. Yeah. So I've kind of had to take myself away from it a little bit. And at the same time I take myself away from it, I think people are looking to me to answer some kind of questions, and I don't really have the answers to tell them because there's so much pressure. And I tell you to do something, and then you do it, and then it ends up being wrong. And then, you know, it looks bad upon me for the advice that I gave you. So yeah, I've been really silent about the situation, but just because I'm silent, I'm conservative to myself. That doesn't mean it doesn't affect me. I tell you, 100%, I watched it before it went viral. The George Floyd incident. I watched it like 6 a.m. on the day it came out, and I watched it about 5 times. I said, I know he just didn't sit there, and then just to see that over and over and see him every time it felt like George would sink a little bit further, he would sink with him. He would dig that knee down into him.
Yeah.
And it just I had to talk with my dad about it. It was just, he didn't necessarily mean to kill him, but it was a thing where he was trying to send him a message. He was trying to tell him, I'm the big dog. You do what I say. And he killed that man. And it's a shame that that's what it takes over and over and over, is brown and black bodies to keep piling up for people to be like, oh, maybe we should change something.
Yeah.
Right.
We was in a Waffle House and 4 people died, and it's just like, well, what's the end all be all to that? I mean, none of those 4 people were criminals, but it just kind of gets, oh, well, he has mental issues. Okay, well, a lot of boys in the hood have mental issues after watching their homeboy die, watching their mama die, or watching their friends do this and do that. But I mean, they might commit some kind of crime, but most of the crimes they commit is out of need, out of poverty, out of lack of education or something like that.
James, let me ask you this, man. I mean, you first of all, you unpacked it a lot, man. I do want to say that I'm thankful that you even have someone like your dad that you can talk to, because in times like this, I think it is important to tap into the next generation and compare notes, man, for our mothers, fathers, grandfathers, and grandparents who marched and dealt with civil rights issues and laid their lives on the line for us to vote. I think it's important for us to be able to tap into them in that regard. And the second thing that I want to say is, man, it's a shame, honestly, that I think a lot of Black people, man, we have to decide, like, which one, like, you almost have to justify that, George Floyd, but then Ahmaud Arbery. It's like we have so many of these deaths happening that we find ourselves trying to justify not which one we care about the most, but maybe which one resonate with us the most. And at the end of the day, it's just all injustice. But you brought up some other things, man. And James, I know after the whole Waffle House shooting, you really took the country, man, by becoming an advocate and raising awareness about gun violence and violence in general, and then raising awareness about mental health issues. And so I'm just interested to know that, what type of support do you think we know that you had to take a vacation. What type of support do you think, particularly Black men and women, will need coming on the other side of this, dealing with the murder of Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, COVID-19? Because we really hadn't even talked about, the amount of Black bodies that we lost, Black people that we lost due to the pandemic. So what type of support do you think that Black people will need coming out of this?
Just like usually with anything, with mental health and things of that nature in the pandemic, it affects each race almost about the same. But if you're lower down on the totem pole as far as economic opportunity and what your wealth status is, it's going to affect you more. Yeah. With the mental health thing, most Black men have never actually seen a therapist. Well, if you ask their white counterpart, a lot of them have seen a therapist by the time they're 12. Not necessarily saying that that's a personality builder or could help you, but I could definitely see the benefits more from it than it hindering you. So we're going to need, I hate to say more help, but I know that little Pookie that's in the hood is not probably going to go to the hospital, and he lives with his grandmama, and he done accidentally got his grandmama infected because he doesn't go to the hospital, and he hasn't had a checkup in however long.
Yeah.
And then put on top of that, he probably doesn't even believe in it. Which I do believe in the pandemic. I don't know if I believe in all the numbers that have been publicized, because for a while there, I think I have a friend that's in Chicago, and she's a nurse, and she told me, she's like, this person didn't even die from COVID, but he was in a hallway that was kind of infected, and we couldn't actually test him. So they said his analysis of dying was from COVID, and I think they've done that a lot. And what they haven't actually showed is the recovery rate. It's been a lot more people recover than they've actually died. But still, I've hunkered down. I built this little tent here. This is where me and my girlfriend we come out here and we chill. And this is just our place of peace and try to get away. But then to put on top of the COVID thing, you put nonstop Black death, just nonstop right in front of us. It was I think a young boy in Indianapolis. He got shot in his back by the police, and while the police cameras footage on, he said something like he won't be needing something like that, or like it was just like it was just a joke. And then it was the Ahmaud Arbery, and then it was Breonna, and then it's just like it's the same thing. Same thing. And so for me, it always gets to a point. It always gets to a point where if I can't disconnect myself from this, I promise you, somebody's going to feel like a wrath, and it's not going to be anything probably they did. It's probably going to be like all of this that's built up.
Yeah.
So when I learned in therapy, because I've had to take a lot of therapy from the situation I went through, you're going to have to find some kind of outlet. So I like to build things. I like to work with my hands. That's my outlet. Some people like to color. Some people like to swim. Some people like to sing. Some people like to, whatever your outlet is, you have to find yourself a constructive outlet to do. But what I found a lot, and this is not to generalize all of us, Black men or women, but a lot of Black men in Nashville specifically have never left North Nashville, have never left South Nashville. You've lived your whole life in a 5-mile radius, and this is what you know. This is what you built your personality on, your experience on. This is what you built your manhood on. Right here. This is what I know. I'm in here. Yeah. And for me, I mean, that seems like it limits you so much, because if you go down the street, it's not dealt like that. If you go over here, it's not. You can learn so much more if it was exposed to you, especially at an earlier age. But for us, we're gonna need. I think we'll need we'll definitely need some government help, because I think in Chicago they have the highest rates for African Americans for COVID.
Yo. So let me tap in right here, James, because first of all, whether you realize it or not, man, what I just as I observe you talking and as I listen to you, man, I know I'm going to chime in and come into agreement with you to say one of the most important things that Black men specifically they need to be heard right now, man. And that's why, you know something, it's a podcast, man. I'm hosting, I got to drive the conversation, but guess what? Right now, brothers need to be heard. And I'm willing to let this conversation breathe, man, because just like you got a platform to be heard, when you talk about little Pookie in the hood who's going to need some mental health support, he's also going to need a platform to be heard on, man. And so I appreciate you. I appreciate you raising awareness about that. Ivon, man, I wanted to ask you, how have you been engaging in the movement?
Oh, man. Like you said, man, I would not, for me, be doing my job if I didn't speak up. And so, man, Ahmaud Arbery hit me because I'm a runner. We competed in challenges before, right? Yeah. And so, being a runner, me knowing that I've had these thoughts because I'm a Black man running on this beautiful scenic route. But then every time a truck passes me, like there's a thought that comes to my mind, like this dude can swerve and hit me and kill me just because of my color. And me seeing that happening before in Mississippi on camera, like that, man, we've been over the years, man, just this constant struggle of tearing the Black man down, and there's no consequences to the person who did it. because the whole system is messed up. And so I think, man, it's so important for us to use our platforms to do what we can do. And so, I mean, that a piece of that is me starting in my house. And then on a larger scale, like I had to go and march, you know, at the Nashville rally, which oddly enough, out of thousands of people, I see you with your mask on. Fatherhood is dope. Is that you?
Basically.
It's crazy, but it's my obligation for every white counterpart that I have, for them to understand, because they don't understand. And I'm not gonna say every one of them, but it's so many that people of not of color, they're just oblivious just because their reality, you know, they don't understand that before we are seen, there's already a prejudgment made before us, which can give someone fear, which can prompt them to take a drastic decision, which can end in someone dead. Too many of us dead.
Yeah. No
repercussions for the person who did it. And so
we
were talking about just how important it is to have conversations, because there's so many emotions, man. I'm angry. There's a part that feels hopeless just because it's happened too many times. And it's like the justice system, it's set up to fail us. It's set up for, just like the white cop did George, it's set up to keep us down as a power struggle. And we have such a bad leader of this free world that shows evidence of how you can use your power in a destructive way. And so for me, it's like having these conversations, heart-to-heart conversations with people that are not of color, for them to get it. And I might not say the right words. I might not be able to project, you know, how I feel. But the first conversation I had with a colleague of mine, I broke down and cried. And she heard my heart. And then she cried. And she just said, "I'm sorry. I didn't know." They don't know that we have to go through this as Black men. And you think about it, this is just not of 2020, man. This is ever since before our time and our ancestors' time, Christopher Columbus' time. Like America was found with blood, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of reform in the justice system, a lot of resources that need to be poured into the Black and brown community, you know what I mean? Just to give people like Lil Tucci or whoever just opportunity to be somewhere, and to have someone that they can connect with. Maybe it's someone whose mission is to be the fathers of fatherless, you know. And so you have someone like me coming in and giving someone hope and giving someone just an outlet to express themselves. So I just think that we have to move in a way that we can continue to impact people or impact the people that we directly interact with.
Yeah. Looks like we lost my man Pryor for a second. Hopefully he'll be tapping back in into this conversation, because I definitely got some questions for him. But Ivon, so, and I know you spend Ivon.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, don't feel bad. I appreciate it, but my funny saying is, man, all my friends call me Ivon. That's my nickname, but my name's Ivon.
Yeah,
so
yeah. No, man. But see, you got to respect the man in his name. So I rather at least try to get it right, fight to get it right before I settle in on the nickname. So I got to put some respect on your name before I can get to the nickname. But Ivon, but I know you spend like hours in the schools, man, like empowering students and exposing their minds to the power of reading. And I'm interested to know, like, with all of us on this this call right now, everybody's a father. And James, this could be coming to you too, but how do you have this type of conversation with your young kids?
Man, honestly, I don't think there's a blueprint.
Yeah.
I think you have to be transparent. It's on the news, and so my oldest daughter, she's 10. She's seen it, you know what I mean? But then I gotta make sure that I connect the dots in telling her how this is connected to the fight that Harriet Tubman was fighting for. You know what I mean? And so I think it's a matter of understanding hey, this is what we face and this is what we challenge, but man, we're overcomers. Like, man, it's a privilege being Black and having that perseverance ingrained in us, and just really just soaking in the beauty of your skin. You know what I mean? And so I think it's just important for us to be honest. You know, I can't explain it great to my 5-year-old, but we can make sure that she knows that she's special, and not only that, but to judge someone by the content of their character, not their skin, you know?
Yeah, man, that sounds, man, I mean, we all, so you quote Dr. King, we all grew up hearing that. We all grew up hearing that. So, I mean, just to push it a little further, how do you make that a reality for your daughter when you tell her to judge someone by the content of their character, not by the color of their skin? Like, are there any practical principles that you can like really imply? Because it's a dad out there who first of all can't quote Dr. King, but still may have the heart to have a reconciled child who is not going out putting more evil into the world.
Yeah. Man, I think our biggest teaching is what we do as parents.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a hypocrite, man. I've been that before in the seasons of my life, and man, it doesn't feel good, you know. But when you start walking in your truth, and you're just empowered. So for me, man, if I'm showing my daughter, hey, look, I embrace my Blackness. I know my challenges, but that's not gonna stop you from getting what you need to get, you know. So never want to kill the dream, but I always want to just give her seeds of hope. And so I'm not gonna stop talking to you know, someone because of their skin color, and just the way that we move is gonna be the biggest example as a parent. You know, because kids they watch us. They watch us when we don't even know they're looking.
I heard it. I hear it right there. So essentially, you're gonna be modeling behavior, man. Yo, we got Pryor back in the building. Man, hey, DJ Pryor.
Man, my bad, man. Bad. Told you, brother. Listen, my bad, man. It's bad.
It's all love. Hey, real talk, man. When I say your name, I'm gonna be honest. Like, the voice I hear in my head is DJ Khaled saying DJ Pryor, you know, but I just embarrassed. You know, it's bad. It's bad. Don't judge me. In my head, that's how I want to say your name, like how DJ Khaled says his name, man. Yo, bro, you're a comedian, man. I mean,
yeah.
Amongst many things, and you know, you specialize in making people laugh. I'm sure you make yourself, your wife laugh, right? And
yeah.
It's like, can you find laughter in any of this? Like, is there a silver lining? Like, how are you coping, man?
You know what? I'm actually developing a show based off of everything that's going on right now. Because I was just telling, you know, my team the other day, I feel like comedy, you give the most trying times in history, comedy's always had a voice. That's what made all the greats the greats. You know what I mean? Richard Pryor, you know what I'm saying? He would get up there and talk about white people in front of white people. Yeah. And they were buying tickets to watch him talk about them.
Yes, sir.
So I think, man, comedy always has a voice should always have a voice in, you know, times where like this, man. I think, you know, this is a time for comedians to be developing our material to address issues, but also laugh at ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And I think right now this is the perfect time for us to create, man. I'm developing a whole show based off of the things that's going on. And even though it's a serious situation, you know what I'm saying? COVID is a serious situation. I just buried my grandfather yesterday. Lost him to that. So I know how serious it is because it came to my doorstep.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. My condolences.
Yeah, thank you, man. But there is a place where, you know, just chopping it over my cousins yesterday, man. We were just sitting at the funeral. We're just clowning, thinking about, you know, everything that led up to it and things that we experienced and the highs and the lows. And man, and when you really step back, man, you gotta have a sense of humor about this stuff, because if not, man, you drive yourself kind of going back to what James was saying about, you know, the mental. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us in the Black community, you know, for a long time, therapy, to go to a therapist was frowned upon, because if you went to a therapist, that meant you were crazy, right? That was the misconception, that if you went to a therapist, you're crazy. So we didn't have the outlet of a therapist, but we had Def Comedy Jam. You know what I'm saying? So that was our way of kind of coping with the things that was going on in society. So, you know, we would go to school and we clown on people. Now, I had people from other races and other ethnicities that would come around like, oh my God, this stuff y'all saying is so horrible. No, this all love. This is just how we talk. We just chop it up. I'm clowning you. That mean I love you. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying some crazy stuff, but that's all love. So right now for a comic, man, I think there's so much material, man, in all the darkness, because that's what comedy comes from. It comes from a dark place. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, you speaking my language, speaking truth to power. Only thing I know is that, man, them Netflix specials gonna be popping in 2021 because we're gonna need a lot of medicine. And hey, and guess what I'm gonna do? Because I told you I'm the chief gasser, man. I'm gonna just gas you up. We just gonna speak your Netflix deal into existence.
Come on, brother. Come on now.
And only thing I want, because I know your wife in the background listening, and I know she probably, if she helping you do this call, I know she probably help you with all the business. So, Mrs. DJ Pryor, I just want a credit roll that said Aaron called it. Aaron called it. That's it.
I love it.
No, hey, but DJ Pryor, man. Also, man, I want to quote you here because I saw that you wrote something on Instagram. And we talking about everybody's platforms right now. You said, I refuse to use my celebrity for anything other than change. And I want to know, like, what does that mean for you? We talk about, you know, working on new material right now. But, I mean, I've seen you've been on several different platforms and things, you know, speaking out about it. And what does that change look like for you? And can you give a voice to anybody else that has a platform? I mean, you got like 100,000 followers on IG. Like, what do you do with that?
I think, man, you know, anytime something happens in the world, you know, people look for the people who have platforms. What do they have to say on it? And, you know, I'm always warned, like, hey, be careful with this. You know what I mean? Because you have a team of people like agents and managers that think of the business of it. They go, yo, hey, man, remember you got this deal pending. Hey, remember you can't, hey, watch what you say here. Right? Don't go too political. But this was one of those ones where it was like, yo, this is different. This is different. And I said, yo, if anybody asked for interviews, I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to get active as soon as, you know, we got to bury my grandfather. I was going to get out there and just protest. But then I was like, nah, I owe it to, you know, my fellow brothers that, you know what I mean? Like, you got a platform for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the James Shaws of the world can, you know, make the move he made, you know what I'm saying, to save lives. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, he could have just went somewhere and sat down and said, yo, I got to get my head straight. But he got active. You know what I'm saying? He got his hands dirty to deal with, okay, then we need to stop further gun violence from happening. So when you have a platform, I owe it to the people that are watching, because they always look at you to go, all right, well, what so-and-so got to say? We all look at other people and like, yo, what so-and-so got to say on it? Yep. When stuff, even though Barack Obama is not the current president, when something happens, we want to hear what Obama got to say about it. Yo, what you got to say about this? And so when you become, as I feel like for me, the influence used to mean just the fame and the exposure and me to get to the next level and all that. But then I found out, man, when my video went viral, this became so much bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, oh, I was now changing a false narrative that black fathers weren't present. Yeah. I was now responsible for showing the world that, oh, that's not true. That what the media is showing you is not the case. Now we 300-some million in, and I still have this weight on me every day of that I have to show people, like, here's how we can do this. Here's another way. So to use my platform is no longer for myself. It is only to further humanity. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think it is, man. So I did this NBC interview, and they were asking me all these questions. And I was like, man, you know, I was like, man, I got to be careful how I answer this. And then something just came over me. It was like, yo, speak truth. Yeah. And then I spoke it, man. And I got, you know, backlash. It was like older Republicans, whatever. But it was still like people upset oh, I can't believe he said this. And then somebody posted, he was like a senator or something. He was like, oh, so now we take advice from comedians and so. So you know, he retweeted this and, you know, stuff like that. But it's crazy. But I feel like we owe this. You know what I'm saying? When we have these kind of platforms, you know, like what you're doing, when we have these kind of platforms, man, we gotta be saying something. We gotta make a statement. You know what I'm saying? And right now, I think we're helping lead so many men and young people in the right direction. Having this discussion, it's healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yo, you said when we have these platforms, we gotta say something. And man, I actually want to say, yo, bro, it's so funny that you talk about that it's bigger than you. And just for the brother that's listening, man, that may not have like, you know, the Uber followers across social media or whatnot, man, I actually think it's worth kind of letting them know too, man, that yo, whatever size your platform is, it's always bigger than you.
Right.
It's always bigger than you.
It's always bigger than you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's love. Yo, I have some white friends, white dads who listen to the podcast, man, who actually want to contribute to the movement, who may even realize, you know, their blind spots, or who understand their privilege in a way where they're checking themselves. And just from man to man, like, what can you guys say to them in terms of in the affirmative of coming alongside of us? Anybody.
Never tell a minority or person of color that you don't see color.
Facts.
How you stop at a red light? How you pick your clothes out in the morning?
Yeah.
Those are petty examples, but I mean, ever since I was first grade, we had to take a TCAP test and we had to fill in a bubble that says I was Black or African American. So don't ever tell us that you don't see color. If you don't see color, then you don't see me, and that means you against us.
All right.
And so that's one thing that always irritated me the most when they say, "Oh, I don't see color." What do you mean?
Right.
Yeah, I'll add to that, man. Not only should they not say that, but they need to hear us. Like, hear us in a way that a white privilege is real and the Black experience is real.
Yeah.
Right.
Therefore, like, our realities are totally different. And so that's one key factor that they have to know and understand. Like, you got to hear me out and not to have your wall of, that doesn't really happen to you, does it? You really get pulled over because of your skin? You really get your car searched? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I really got my car searched for no reason, cavity search. And for brothers who knew their rights and stood up in the midst of that, you're searching my car for no reason, led them to the grave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the reality. And I think we need people that are not of color to hear our hearts and then march with us, man. We're fighting. It's like it's 2020 and we're still fighting for this. And that's the part that makes no sense, man. So they got to get on our side of the fence, and this needs to change in the justice system. I mean, long term, I'm talking about like our kids and their kids are going to need to fill these seats of these representatives, the houses, corporate America, because it's still predominantly white, you know? And so we could say that we want the whole world to change quickly. That's what we really want, we desire, and that's what our need is. But reality is going to take some generation. So
and to piggyback off the back of that, not to interrupt you, but it was a meme that went around, and I forgot who said it, but it said, check your white friends because they're doing the TikTok, they're doing all the whatever on TikTok and on Instagram, all the dances and all those dances. But if they don't say nothing about what's going on with this, and they're doing all of that, then them ain't your friends.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much spot on with that from now on. I've seen you post everything about the Michael Jordan series, about those 10 episodes, and watch it and all of that. I've seen you do the TikToks, the yada, yada, yada. But when this comes on, you silent. Now, this is just much George Floyd's death is just as much African culture as them TikTok dances and what's the Megan Thee Stallion song when they was doing all the dances?
Savage.
The Savage song.
Yep.
And they was doing all that. So if you got time for that, I know you seeing this. So I don't really have excuses for people. You either do it or you don't do it.
Yeah.
Man, two things I'm hearing. I'm about to let you go, DJ Pryor. But two things I'm hearing though, underline is that we want to be seen and we want to be heard. So acknowledge us. Go ahead.
Yep. I said empathy, man. You don't have to completely get it to express empathy.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't have to. You didn't go through it. I get it, because I could explain it to you, but you still wouldn't get it. But you don't have to go through it to express empathy. And I think so many people are just they don't get it, so they just say. And sometimes they say what they think you want to hear, and it becomes insulting. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like it becomes I've been around black people.
Well, I have voted for Obama. I voted
right,
for Obama.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
I got a black friend.
Exactly. So it's like sometimes just I don't need you to say all the time, right? I just need empathy. Give me empathy. You know what I'm saying? If I don't get it, but I know this is wrong, so that's why I'm staying with you. That's it. We don't got to go through all the talks. We ain't got to go through the debates. We ain't got to discuss the politics. Empathy says I didn't go through it, but I understand that this is how this is making you feel. And so my heart goes out to you. So I'll march with you because I know this ain't right. And we all have in us, white, black, whatever. We know what's right and what's wrong. Right? If something is making a person feel less than, and if somebody's superior and this person's inferior, we know that that's wrong. So I give it to white people. I say, I get that you give me the most racist person. And I in my heart, and a lot of black people wouldn't agree with me, I have both empathy and sympathy, because you are so stuck in this bubble that in your head, you have convinced yourself that you are more than me. So because you probably came from a world of people that have taught you this, man, I really feel sorry for you. It's not okay with me, but I feel sorry for you. In the sense of, hey, that's how you got to live your life. You got to find a way to be that hateful, because you got to remind yourself to be that hateful. You got to constantly tell yourself, you got to feed yourself that evil energy every day to be that evil. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So I think empathy, man, is once a person can connect with that, I think that'll solve the thing. Because you don't have to find the right words to say to them. You just like, I don't get it. I can't even lie to you. I don't. I think more black people would appreciate that than I got black friends I hang with all the time, and I get it, man. I used to hang around them all. What? That's not the same thing. Man, I used to be eating ramen noodles at the house. I totally get it. That's not the same thing, man. It's so much bigger than ramen. But so much bigger than oodles and noodles, man.
Yeah. You gotta miss us with that. I got a black friend that whole piece is gotta go. Man, you know what I learned at an early age, man. I don't even know if I don't know. It may be biblical, it may be somewhere, but sometimes I feel like I made it up. But it's called the ministry of presence. And you know how you just lost your grandfather. I don't have the words to say. Mm-hmm. We send our condolences and things of that nature, but beyond that, I really don't have the words to say. But specifically, as I set this question up, I said I have white friends, white dads who listen to the podcast. So if we're not even talking about strangers, let's just talk about friends. And this is my note for friends who don't know what to say. Let's tap into the ministry of presence. Sometimes, and it's really going to what you said, DJ Pryor, about empathy. The ministry of presence is just being there.
Just being there.
Just being there. Just being there to listen, to hear. Just being there. And then depending on, back to James' point, when you talk about you posting about the MJ documentary and every other TikTok video, then I'm gonna piggyback off you and say, show up with that same energy every time. With George Floyd, this black culture too, show up with that same energy, man. So guys, well, on the flip side of this, because we're about to bring this to an end, but I just wanted to indulge, man, to make sure that, man, my white friends who listen to this, man, that they have some type of context and I appreciate nobody really qualifying their answer because, you know, I know firsthand as a black man, a lot of times we got to qualify our answer. We got to qualify our levels of excitement or passion.
Mm-hmm.
But I appreciate none of y'all for doing that, man, because there's no more excuses.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you guys say on the flip side of that? What do you say to black men in general, man, who have to do things like what I just said, qualify our answers and qualify our righteous anger or frustration or pain? What do you say to the black men, black fathers? Ivon, you got it. Take it.
Man,
Yeah, I thought he had the answer.
I don't know if I got the answer, but I do know I have a piece of the action. Knowledge is power, man. And so I know our grandfathers, our great-grandfathers, they fought for the right for us to vote. And that was a victory. So, man, we got to take it a step further and, like, really understand who you're voting for on the local level. Like, who's the state representative, you know, not just the presidential elections, which is a whole nother conversation of who do I choose out of the two worst, you know what I mean? But I think educating yourself, and so if we do that to our kids, and then we give them knowledge saying, hey, did you know that the Secretary of State makes $500,000 a year, and they only work so many hours, and all you have to have is a such and such degree? Really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and so now you planting seeds of knowledge to someone who can cultivate that seed, and you can sprout, and that's going to be another a person like me or you or my daughter or your son, DJ Pryor, that's going to fill a seat that can legislate a law that looks like everyone on the same page.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then, so I think that's one thing, man. We got to equip ourselves with knowledge, man. Continue to understand where can we make an impact, how can we make an impact in the safest way, and just see change, man. Keep hope alive. We got to keep hope alive. We have.
Right.
Facts. I'm about to wrap this up. Anybody else got anything to say to the black men, black fathers, man? This is the word of encouragement, man. You know, it's the Tupac. It's the Tupac moment. Keep your head up.
Right.
So for me, I'm gonna be completely honest. It's weird for me to give any kind of fatherhood advice, because I'll tell you pretty front and blatantly, I'm not the greatest father. I failed before, but I'm trying. And if you're a black father, and if you're scared of being a father, which it is a big test, keep trying. My daughter's here with me. I try as much as I can to be a good dad. I'm there for everything that she needs me to be. And if I can't be there, then, you know, I try to make it up as best as I can. But just trying to be there, just trying to be reliable as best as I can is what I can give her, and just to be honest. So for the black father that's out there, just try. It'll get you a longer way, a lot more longer way with your child than not trying will at all.
Right.
I'm gonna add in right there to James, man. I think you said it, man. You have to be present, and just you being present, as if DJ, you losing your grandfather, being present. You know, in 2011, my homie got a phone call, my old teammate Damon Nixon, that his best friend got shot and killed by LAPD, Reggie Doucette, and his family got a settlement. You know, which really echoes the injustice that we face.
Right.
And I didn't have the right words to say to Damon, man, but we was at work together, and I just sat with him. I was just present. And so talking about present, man, my dad, rest in peace, I lost my dad in 2017. But I can remember him being present at my football games. I'm just looking for my dad in the stands, and knowing that his presence gave me power.
Yeah.
So, man, I applaud you, man, and I echo that same exact charge for all the fathers. Just be present. Your presence is power, man. Right.
And kind of to add on to that, I always I remember when my oldest was born, I cried. The night he was born, I cried. I'm talking about boo-hoo cried. I'm talking about ugly cry. And because I was so scared. I was so terrified of failing at this job. And I remember thinking, I'm not equipped enough. Lord knows I wasn't ready to be a dad. Me and his mom's situation was crazy. She told me she was pregnant, and I made up my mind I was going to be present. And when he was born and I saw him, I can't explain that feeling. Like, I don't care if I die protecting you, if I die teaching you, if I die equipping you, you're going to be good. So when I leave this world, God forbid it happen before my time, you know, you're good, that I put some in you. So I would say, you know, being a father to a little girl is so much different than being father to boys. Because my boys, I got to put life in you. You're going to be a man, and you're going to be a man in America. You know, you can move elsewhere, but you're still growing up here, and you're going to be a black man trying to fit in a puzzle piece that wasn't designed for you. So all of that was, for me, I had to be present, but to add on to what my brothers were saying, to be present, but I got to be active, because if not, I can be in the house and you be there, but you don't feel like I see you or hear you. So I need you to know, just like how society has made us as black men feel, I can't return that to you. Or then you are like me, and then you feel like you're unheard, just like we feel like we're unheard. I got to be present, but I got to be active so I can say, yo, what's going on in your life? So I sit down with my son, he's 9. I sit down with him and say, yo, what's going on? And he'll rap to me about whatever he's feeling and how he's feeling and how, you know what I mean? It might seem small in his, you know, to us, but in his little life, this is a big deal. Even my 2-year-old, you know, how that conversation went viral. Because I talk to my kids like, hey, what's up? And let them have that conversation. So I think, you know, kind of what they've been saying, man, is we got to be present. We got to continue to be who we are. Don't let society, don't let the media tear us down. And when you see that, stick up for your brother. And people, I charge other people with platforms, black men with platforms, man, don't let them make us look that way. Let's represent our kind and show them that we're here, we're present, we love our kids. We ain't just making babies and running away. Even if we not with the moms, we still here.
Second.
Yo, and ladies and gentlemen, that's what you call the state of black fatherhood on Fatherhood is Dope podcast, man. James really got it kicked off, man, in terms of really moving my heart just in this conversation. I mean, guys, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being present. You know, this whole platform, Fatherhood is Dope, was started to do a couple of things, man, to amplify the voices of fathers, but to also celebrate men who answered the call to fatherhood, which essentially means that, you know, whether you're a stepdaddy, a spiritual father, a godfather, you're divorced, you're married, single, wherever you fall on the fatherhood spectrum, are you still showing up as best you can? Are you still engaged? Are you still present? And so, listen, we barely talked about fatherhood, but at the end of the day, that doesn't matter, because that's what qualifies us to be here, man. And I think what you guys were able to do for me today is really to not only speak truth to power, but to continue to give voice to not just our pain, but the progression that we need to take as black men, as black fathers. And I think, well, I've always believed this, but now more than ever, we see how valuable our voices are. And I hope that that this conversation, man, is a catalyst for some other dad who thinks that he's voiceless, or think that he doesn't have something to contribute or is a value add. That is a catalyst for him to get engaged, not only with his child, but in this movement, man, to bring about change. Ladies and gentlemen, man, y'all show some love to my guest, DJ Pryor, Ivon Hickmon, James Shaw. I'm acting like this is a live event right now. I'm turned. We the best.
Yeah, I'm turned, man. I'm about to go beat my girls up, man.
Yeah. Hey guys, so man, yo, if you're watching on YouTube, per usual, like I said, don't act brand new, man. Do that thing that y'all do when y'all see something y'all like. Y'all subscribe, y'all tell your friend, and do it like you do when somebody's gossiping in a text message. Screenshot it, send it to somebody. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, man, make sure you download the podcast. Subscribe to Fatherhood is Dope. It's your guy Aaron, man. We deep into season 2. It's only getting better, baby. Y'all, you've been listening to Fatherhood is Dope, the podcast, State of Black Fatherhood, man. It's all love. Fatherhood is Dope. Peace.